must be too real to touch. You'll never in your life try to knock the truth. The illest shit ever. Get ready, cause this is about to get heavy.
Trying to keep me out, trying to censor what I say, cause they don't like what I'm talking about. So what's wrong with the media today?
Prove I'm lying if I ain't correct.
Hey Canelo, if the WBC asks you to either fight Golovkin next or give up the belt, what do?
Ready?
You ready? So we're gonna see Golovkin in May or what?
Ready?
There it is.
Okay, and I got a last question for you. Canelo Triple G, I know the fans, they must talk to all the Golden Boy people. Is that a fight that you want to see, Canelo Triple G?
I think it's a fight that everybody wants to see and that it's going to happen in its time. Right now, the focus is on Amir Khan. Obviously, you can't take him lightly. And once, that happens, we'll sit down and start seeing, Oscar will begin the negotiations with the other side. But it's a fight that Canelo wants, the fans want. It'll happen. It will happen.
Okay, you guys heard it first from Mr. Diaz. Thank you for your time.
I ask you this question because I get asked this when I write my articles. Are you protecting Canelo?
Well, you tell me.
I have to ask you the question.
Yeah, next time. Do I think the WBC is protecting Canelo? No.
I just need you to say it.
Canelo came into the picture when he beat Cotto. So he beat Cotto inside the ring. Canelo met with Triple G. They both reached an agreement which they signed and they registered at the WBC that each fighter takes one fight. Triple G just won. Canelo is fighting May 7th and the winners have to fight each other.
So he gets to have an interim fight. They both get to have interim fights in the meantime before, and hopefully the boxing world could be put on hiatus and on hold, and hopefully these two guys, Canelo and Triple G, fight in September. Let me read what it says. The World Boxing Council, WBC, with the full cooperation of all interested parties, proudly announces the status of the middleweight division. Both Alvarez and Golovkin shall be entitled to make a voluntary defense of their corresponding championships, so as to maximize the interest on their highly anticipated showdown. A 15-day free negotiation period will be ordered on the early of the competition of the voluntary defense or May 31st. If there's no agreement, a purse bid will be conducted, blah, blah, blah. If after their corresponding voluntary defenses, one boxer is unable to fight the other for the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, the unable fighter will lose his status as champion. May. Do you honestly think they're going to be in there tough with the sturdiest competition possible, knowing that a mega fight between the two of them looms for September? It makes no sense. So to me, what that means is they're probably going to both be in matches where they're highly favored to win. You know what I mean? Guys with losses, guys with stoppage. Like, who's Canelo going to fight? Amir Khan, like Oscar De La Hoya said. Check out the video I did on that. But who's he going to fight? Canelo versus Timothy Bradley. You know what I mean? A guy who's a welterweight and a career 140-pounder, just like Amir Khan. Who is he going to fight? Cornelius Bundridge, who got stopped. Carlos Molina, who got stopped, I think, by K9 Bundridge. You know what I'm saying? Like, I struggle, and I will put money on this too. I really doubt, especially for Canelo, I doubt he's going to be in there with somebody in his next fight, his voluntary defense. I really believe it's not going to be a fighter that the public considers like a 50-50 match or a chore, like a Lada rematch or Demetrius Andrade or the better Charlo brother, or any Charlo brother, or Vanes Matarosen even, or Willie Nelson. I really don't think it's going to be a guy like that. You know what I mean? Guys who are big, tall, 6 foot. I don't think it's going to be a true middleweight. Then they grant this man an extension after Canelo beats Cotto, and we play the waiting game, and they give him an extension, and then we wait just to find out that they're fighting other options sooner. And it just, to me, it's all over the place, and it's stupid, because another reason it doesn't make sense is we still don't even know, like, it's not signed on the dotted line. Like, yo, if we both get past our next opponent, we're fighting each other. What weight is it going to be at? Is it going to be at Canelo weight? That's my problem with this. This is like, look at Andre Ward versus Kovalev. The HBO multi-fight deal stipulates if Andre Ward stays on the winning track and Kovalev stays on the winning track, then they will meet up in the fall of 2016. That's the deal. right? So we have something to look forward to. All Kovalev has to do is beat Pascal again, which I assume he will. Andre Ward has to beat whoever they put in front of him, and he's been undefeated this long, hasn't lost since he was a teenager. So it looks like all roads lead to Ward versus Kovalev at some point. You know what I mean? They're both undefeated, and no one's been able to beat them so far. So it looks like we'll get that, and there's like a strong inkling that we'll get that fight. With this, we don't really know. Either they're going to cherry pick and match them very lightly to keep them in a fight that they definitely should win. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing new media. Now, the power of new media, you guys heard the audio snippets that I recorded in December. They had the complete date. I'll put the link in the description. I don't change anything. I don't delete videos. There's no way to alter past audio from videos you did. I did that video before I even knew who Canelo and Triple G were fighting. So 5 months ago, I made that video. And again, that's the power of new media. With new media, it's no longer in boxing just about saying something arbitrarily. It's about illustrating it and showing you guys. And that's what I was doing. Because there's a lot of people who lack consistency in the boxing world, journalists and YouTubers, different things like that. What I mean by that is they'll say one thing, and when they're foolishly wrong, all of a sudden they'll try to switch it and change their whole standpoint, and that's not what they were saying. So that's what I'm showing you guys. I've been very consistent on the issues. Some people say, oh, you hate Canelo, you hate Triple G. This is a good fight, and I made a video about it talking about the fearful fans of this fight with Canelo Triple G. Make sure you guys check that video out as well. And again, I've been calling for this. I've been saying this. You guys heard the audio from December before I even knew Canelo was fighting against Amir Khan in his voluntary defense. Before I knew that Gennady Golovkin was fighting his mandatory and Dominique Wade. And I covered both of those fights. I was in Vegas and I was also in Inglewood. And this is a great fight. I think Triple G and team, they kind of got a raw deal, which is what I've always maintained. Just because they allowed Canelo extra time to quote-unquote have a voluntary defense or whatever, and now they're still trying to hunt him down to get him in the ring for the middleweight fight with the WBC belt. And Triple G on social media, he's been very active as far as to making it known to the fans and the public what he wants next. He put this picture of his post-fight, and the caption says, "I am ready at Canelo," with the fist. Almost 40,000 likes. He took subliminal shots at him. Thank you to Roots of Fight and Chavez for this shirt. Chavez, a real Mexican warrior that will fight anyone, right? Then he posted a picture of him when he was sparring in Big Bear with Canelo. Who is ready for this? Tell Dan Rayfield over on Twitter that you want to see Canelo Golovkin, right? That was a week ago. He did a radio show in LA, Middleweight Champion equals 155 fight ? And it's an excerpt from that radio show where he was talking about a proposed fight. And then today he put this: "Give me my belt. Hashtag Triple G, hashtag boxing. Who's next? WBC next fight." So it's a picture of a WBC belt. Obviously, Golovkin is the interim WBC champion, and Canelo has the full belts from beating Miguel Cotto and defending against a welterweight in Amir Khan. So again, it's funny to see the fans squirm and try to justify why this fight should not happen. It's like when it's a fighter they like, they're all for fighters fighting their mandatory. Even Golovkin fought a very little known Dominique Wade, and some people who questioned Golovkin's resume and didn't know much about Wade, they made excuses and said, oh, but he's fulfilling a mandatory. Stop hating on this fight. Even though he's fighting Dominique Wade, who he should annihilate, which he did annihilate. Dominique Wade had no type of resistance in the fight. He just came and wasn't equipped to deal with Golovkin, right? So that was what most people thought would happen because they didn't know much about Wade, and Wade had never had a high-profile fight. But some of those same fans said, oh, but hey, Golovkin's fulfilling his mandatory obligations. You can't be mad at him. But those same fans are now saying Canelo shouldn't fight Golovkin. So which one is it? You can't have your cake and eat it too. I thought you're all for champions fulfilling their mandatories, right? Because when people critique Golovkin for fighting Wade, another guy we don't really know, and not like, you know, a known elite guy, even though he was undefeated, people said he has an excuse for it because he's fighting a mandatory. But some of those same fans are the ones now saying that Golovkin needs to do more to fight his mandatory. The man's been in line to fight an elite champion for some time now, whether it be it Sergio Martinez, be it Cotto, be it Canelo. And like I said in the last video, Canelo is younger than Cotto. He's younger than Sergio Martinez. And as far as I'm concerned, he still has a bit more to prove, because you look at the resume of Sergio Martinez at the time where a Golovkin fight would happen. He already had an accomplished career. He had already beat Kelly Pavlik. You know what I mean? Beat him good. He had already beat Chavez Jr. He had already beat guys like Paul Williams with the brutal highlight reel knockout. Same thing with Cotto. Cotto already beat the Malinagis, the Zab Judas. He had already fought the Pacquiaos of the world, the Margaritos, and different things like that by the time he even was in position to be the middleweight champion in the 4th division, set Puerto Rico history. Canelo has been in pretty much 1 or 2 divisions, and he's still... His best win is Cotto, but then some of his other wins are gray areas, like the fight with Erislandy Lara. You know what I mean? He clearly lost to Mayweather. He fought some older guys with names like Carlos Baldomir or Shane Mosley, right? So he's the youthful one out of the bunch, and he is the current one, most importantly. It's not just about age and what you've accomplished, so that's probably why people want to see the fight. People give Canelo a shot to beat him, to beat Triple G, and ultimately for Triple G to get over this hump, to prove how great he is or isn't, he has to fight somebody like a Canelo, somebody who could test him, somebody who has that youth, somebody who has equal strength or power, has athleticism or good hand speed. You know what I mean? These are the types of tests. So that's why people want to see this fight. And again, I've maintained the same standpoint on this, and that's what new media does. I don't just tell you guys something and then 6 months later I change it. You know what I mean? I'm an Aries. I'm very stubborn, and right is right, wrong is wrong. I don't care who you like personally. This is a great fight. There's big business in this fight. People like the Cowboys owner, Jerry Jones, was talking about hosting this fight at the Cowboys AT&T Stadium. The fans want to see it. They're both action styles. That's how I know some of the fans are full of shit. Some of the fans, oh, we hate Mayweather Pacquiao. That was so boring. But then they're anti this fight, which has to be an action fight. You look at Canelo's last fight. I mean, with Amir Khan, he had a highlight reel knockout. Golovkin's knocked out his last 22 or so people, right? And he's a knockout artist. So I thought you don't like some of these fans that they claim they don't like runners. They claim they don't like chess matches. They claim they like that in-your-face action. Yet they're making excuses for why this fight shouldn't happen. So keep doing your thing, Gennady Golovkin. Hopefully you get that big fight with Canelo. Again, it's a great fight, and this is precisely why I didn't want to see them take voluntary defenses, because now after they both got past their voluntary defenses, we're still at the starting point, and they're still trying to negotiate to see if this will happen. And from what I'm hearing in the negotiations, they're saying that Canelo wants 2 to 3 more fights. Like, why wasn't this agreed upon to begin with? So no one got their hopes up that this fight could happen this year or it could happen in September. You know what I'm saying? It's not making sense. Again, I keep using this great HBO example and analogy of Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev. Both camps, main events, Rock Nation, Kovalev, Ward, HBO, they got together and they agreed that both fighters in their individual careers could have 2 matches before meeting each other in the 3rd match if they win those 2 matches, and they're 2 undefeated fighters. Now, Kovalev already beat the shit out of Pascal, so that's 1, and he's fighting Isaac Chilemba, in Russia, so he should definitely open up as the favorite against Chilemba. Ward fought Sullivan Barrera, an undefeated Cuban puncher who was the mandatory for Kovalev, beat him in his first fight at the full light heavyweight. And I talked to Ward. He says he's going to come back hopefully by the summer his team is trying to put together something for him, looking at their options, etc., right? And after that, they should be facing each other. So that's how business should be conducted. It's a mega fight brewing. Kovalev and Ward, both undefeated, skilled fighters, just like Triple G and Canelo. It's a fight fans want to see. I mean, if these are probably the two biggest fights in boxing right now that the fans would be anticipating, that would do good viewership, good numbers, and have the boxing world paying attention to, right? But again, you look at the Ward Kovalev model. That is how you do it. You say, this is what I need up front. Ward is like, I'm moving up. I'm coming up from 68, moving to 175. This dude's a monstrous puncher and he's undefeated. Let me give myself some time to acclimate, and I need 2 fights, and then we can get it in on the 3rd fight. Pause. That's not what's happening with the Triple G Canelo fight. It's all over the place. They were supposed to fight each other after he beat Cotto. Then they got an extension. Then they negotiated to have one interim fight, which they both at this point completed. Dominic Wade and Amir Khan, right, for Triple G and Canelo. And then now all of a sudden, from what I'm hearing, they want 2 to 3 more fights. So like, when is this gonna give? And then on top of that, what weight is it gonna be at? The Canelo weight, or is it gonna be at 160? So I'm just getting sick of the politics, and this is again the benefit of new media. I called this. I said this exact scenario would play out. So to me, instead of having this man making this face and like, hey, no, guys, hey guys, I'm ready, give me my belts, and doing all this, Canelo should have beat Cotto, immediately rematched him, and or dropped the belts, right? Because if he rematched Cotto immediately, then he could be like, oh, sorry, Golovkin, we had a rematch clause, so contractually I have to fight Cotto a second time, right? And Golovkin, the WBC would have no choice but to respect that and to let the interim champion Golovkin notify him and make him wait, because a rematch clause I'm sure would supersede an interim champion being next up in line, you know what I mean? Especially for a high profile fight between respected guys like Canelo and Cotto. But he didn't do that. Canelo held on to the hardware. He hasn't rematched Cotto. He fought a welterweight in Amir Khan, and now he still has the belt. So of course this is looking like food to Golovkin. He's like, man, I want the people are saying I ain't fought nobody and I'm not that good, or I'm the bum killer, I'm fighting taxi drivers. Let me fight this young kid who I've sparred before, who's a young, strong kid who's been in there with Floyd Mayweather. I need the recognition. This is a great fight. I don't know what it is, why some people are that scared. Like Oscar De La Hoya said, and I'll try to play the clip courtesy of Dante's Boxing Nation at the end, when he was talking, when Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo's manager, was talking about Floyd Mayweather, he says he should absolutely fight Pacquiao. He was like, hey, don't be afraid to let the O go. It's okay. The best versus the best. Everybody's lost. All the great legends. So if that's what Oscar De La Hoya feels, that it's okay to lose, then put him in there with Golovkin. Because I'm not saying Canelo will lose, but there's definitely a chance. I just read an article and it says that Golovkin would open up as a 4-1 favorite over Canelo. So obviously the betting odds believe that this man Golovkin would beat Canelo. But again, it's not a foregone conclusion. Canelo's a good fighter, he's tough, but the odds have him as an underdog. So if Oscar De La Hoya really means that, then why doesn't he put his fighter in there with this man Gennady Golovkin? It's not making sense. And that's been the whole Golden Boy pact. Look, I'm gonna go to their, this is the Golden Boy website. Oh, I guess you can't see it. I'll try to put a screenshot, but I seen on the Golden Boy Instagram that they had a thing, and under the bio it said the best versus the best. So if that is your standpoint, like maybe they changed it, like fuck it, we ain't the best fighting the best now. But either way, if that's your standpoint, why wouldn't you put your champion in there? Especially he's doing the post-fight saying, oh, like we say in Mexico, we ain't afraid of nobody, I fear no man. I invited Golovkin in the ring. All this like hooting and hollering, let's make the fight, let's see it. Fans want to see it. This is a good fight. And again, Canelo has a shot in there. I don't know if he would beat Golovkin, but he definitely has a shot, because we still have to see Golovkin as a pro without headgear in there with somebody as good as Canelo, right? So I'm just, it's not making sense to me right now, and it doesn't look like the fight is going to happen next. I will keep you guys updated. That's just my personal opinion, like I've been saying. Let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you like my video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
Well, that's where I'm a bit confused. It's like it's there's no shame in losing. The very best have lost. The very best. And when I talk about the very best, I'm thinking about Muhammad Ali. I'm thinking about Sugar Ray Robinson and Julio Cesar Chavez. Like those types, everybody loses. And when everybody loses, you know, you see great fights. You see action-packed fights. You see excitement. You see, you know, worrying about a record doesn't do good to anybody.
Couldn't you argue?
Including the person himself.
Well, because it doesn't do good, including the person himself, because, you know, you're going to be taken care of. You're going to do whatever possible you can to protect that record. It's you know, and what happens then? You take no risks, or you know, or you pick and choose, or so. That's why I say, I mean, boxing must go back to the root of the sport, and that's taking risks, fighting the very best, and there's no shame in losing.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.